Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. It's been 15 months since the invasive forest insect, the emerald ash borer, was discovered in Vermont. Since its discovery in Orange County last February, the insect has spread to several other communities, including north to Grand Isle County. Burlington has not yet seen the pest, but the city arborist is remaining vigilant. He spoke recently to our Rebecca Gollin.
Emerald ash borer is a tiny metallic green beetle that lays eggs in bark crevices or twig crevices on the ash tree, and then the larvae hatch, burrow underneath the bark, and feed underneath the bark, essentially girdling the tree from the inside out. It was introduced to the United States from Asia, believed to have come here in wooden packing crates or packing materials. First showed up in the Midwest about 15 years ago and has slowly spread across the country. And once it infests an ash tree, it can kill a tree within a couple years.
Emerald ash borer has now been found in Vermont. What are the implications for Burlington?
Yeah, we were hoping we weren't going to see it so soon, but it's made its way here, and for Burlington it's significant. We currently have about 13,000 trees in our inventory within street right-of-ways and in parks and cemetery places. And ash represent about 9% of our inventory, a little over 9%. So we have in the order of 1,200 ash throughout the city. As of right now, we have not detected emerald ash borer in Burlington, but it was recently found in South Hero, which is not far away. So we know it's coming, and we're hoping that we have several years over which to spread out the cost of removals, replanting, stump grinding, so that it's economically feasible.
What are the options for the city and for private homeowners for dealing with emerald ash borers?
Well, for the city, we would have the option of choosing to treat some or all of the trees throughout the city, but that's, it's economically, it's really not feasible. In this neighborhood alone, on 5 streets, there's about 180 ash trees. And conservatively, it would cost the city about $30,000 every 2 years to treat these trees. And they would have to be treated every 2 years for the foreseeable future to protect against the insect. The other option is to plan for their eventual loss of these trees by replanting these areas. For homeowners have to decide, if they want to retain the ash on their private properties, they will have to commit to treating them with an insecticide. So they have to weigh those costs versus, eventually losing the trees and replanting with different species.
For a neighborhood like this, how have you been dealing with that and preparing for it?
Well, we've identified several areas in the city where there are large populations of ash, this neighborhood being one of them. But you can see if you look around this neighborhood that the green belts here, the space between the sidewalk and the road is quite generous compared to other areas of the city. And the space in between the existing trees is quite generous. So we're taking the approach here of being proactive, knowing that we're not going to treat these trees, of starting to interplant with younger trees of various species in hopes of getting some canopy started here and having a variety of species so that when emerald ash borer eventually gets here and we have to start removing trees, we'll already have planted their replacements.
So if a homeowner did want to replace their ash with something, what would be a suitable replacement tree?
Oh, there's a lot of really good native species that will grow in similar conditions to our native green and white ash. There are some hybrid maples, red maple, hackberry would be a good one, river birch perhaps. And there's a whole host of species, and it's about picking the right tree for the right spot and what ornamental attributes you want to have eventually. Fall color, flower, fruit, food for wildlife, etc.
Thanks to Burlington City Arborist V.J. Comey for that update. Our next segment centers around what may be the ultimate team sport. In modern agriculture, tractors have largely replaced horses or oxen, but that doesn't mean that working animals no longer work. In Vermont 4-H, young people train animals in the Working Steer program. Here's Across the Fence's Keith Silva with our story.
Spot. My lightning, spot.
It's rare to meet someone who can claim to be a master of thunder and lightning.
My lightning, spot. Feels like I'm a boss. It feels like I'm like president or something.
The president of thunder and lightning?
Pretty much, because they're a lot bigger than me. I'm a lot smaller, but yeah, I'm still in charge.
Landon Campbell is a member of the Green Mountain Teamsters 4-H Club.
Hawk, you over.
That's lightning on the left and thunder on the right. All three have been training together every day for the past year.
My lightning, spot. They listen best to the person who got them, raised them, drive them.
Right.
Basically, these guys will listen best to me. Step up. It really all falls down to who's with them the most and who drives them the most and who does everything the most with them, which is me. Head up, buddy. Boy.
There are 3 classes or events in 4-H working steer competitions: fitting and showmanship, cart class, and stone boat. Fitting and showmanship looks at the animal's condition, cleanliness, and grooming.
Ah.
In the cart class, the team maneuvers a cart around an obstacle course. Stone boat refers to pulling any weighted object like a concrete block or a tire.
You can train them, but they will eventually get tired and thirsty, and they will want to quit. But that's usually a couple hours before they do. It's more of when I'm ready to quit than they are.
Campbell uses what's called a goad stick to correct the team if they step out of line. But the majority of the training is done with voice commands. How do you speak steer?
Just gotta have a strong and loud voice.
Now easily, just like that. That was very good.
Helping Campbell develop his voice is the Green Mountain Teamsters 4-H leader, Terry Chamberlain.
We have to teach the kids to use a stronger voice, and meaning not necessarily harsh, but so you mean it. It's not just like you're lollygagging talking to your friends on the school bus. You're speaking a little harsher. You're speaking up, more firm, more aggressive. That is a very, very big lesson that I have to teach the kids. Some come by it naturally, others, no. You really have to work with them to get that. You're the boss. This is how you're controlling these animals. Be more aggressive. Use your voice. Louder. I need to hear you.
On her back. On her back.
Chamberlain has a no-nonsense approach to teaching kids and animals,
Lightning set.
something she's
Lightning back.
developed over 25 years of being a 4-H leader.
Lightning back. Thank you.
At times, I teach the kid more than I have the child teach the animals. You're getting the 2 to work together as well as the teamsters, so it's actually a team of 3. You have to get them all on the same page working together.
Oh, love
Like
them
that.
up.
Love them up. That's
Good
right.
boy.
Tell them they were good boys.
Good job.
Vermont 4-Hers can compete in 3 working steer shows each year. Some of the fairs also offer open shows, which means 4-Hers compete against adults. For Chamberlain, getting to go up against a 4-Her she's taught is the ultimate test of her skill as both a teamster and a teacher.
It makes you feel good. You can say, oh, wow, I actually taught them how to do this and watched them grow. But I usually give them a run for their money. I mean, that's the best thing as a teacher, to see your students beat you.
Come on, boys. Head up.
Heads up, guys.
The Green Mountain Teamsters 4-H Club only meets once a month, so the bulk of the training and everyday care is the responsibility of the teamster and their family.
I like those bulls just as well as he does.
Mick Campbell is a former 4-Her. He and his wife are proud to have both their children in 4-H.
When I started 4-H way back a long time ago, I lived in Braintree, and we actually had a snowmobile club. My dad ran the 4-H snowmobile club, so I was part of it there. That's how I got initiated to it or started with it there.
Mick had to expand the barn and make sure his truck and trailer could haul 2 steer. Those changes were easy compared to another factor in taking on thunder and lightning.
One of the big issues for us when we started this was actually it was a safety issue, because as you see, these bulls aren't small. You know, these steers are fairly good size, they get big. And when Landon was little, we were just very cautious and concerned that anything can happen. They're animals, you know. So we were erred on the side of caution for sure, because just a big safety issue with us. And as he's progressed and gotten older and gotten better with them and stuff, it's It's been kind of tough, but we've tried to pull back a little bit and let him mature and let him do his own thing, and he's progressing very well, and we are too.
Lightning.
Thunder and Lightning tipped the scales at about 900 pounds apiece.
Whoa!
Landon,
Thunder,
not so much.
How much do you weigh?
About 90 pounds, maybe.
So you're
95.
and you're pushing around these nearly 1,000-pound animals.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. Head up! Really, it doesn't matter what size they are as long as they behave. You can have animals taller than you, and if they behave, then they're fine.
Another safety concern of training working steers is their horns. Campbell says he learned quickly how to make sure Thunder and Lightning keep their horns to themselves.
Most of the time, they keep their head away from you, and if they do hit you, it's probably not on purpose. Probably because they're swinging their head around at a fly or something, and they didn't see you, and they nail you. Thunder, head up!
Campbell considers getting horned in the ribs by a 900-pound steer child's play compared to another responsibility of animal care.
Really, the hardest part is cleaning their stall out. Yeah, you have to clean up all the poop out of there, all the wet sawdust and everything, all the hay they throw on the floor and then they poop on. So you got to clean it all out. That's really the hardest part. Stop.
In the barn or out at a competition, Landon Campbell has harnessed the power of Thunder and Lightning thanks to his family and thanks to 4-H. In Randolph, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
For more information about the wide range of 4-H programs available in your area, contact the state 4-H office toll-free at 800-571-0668. And once again, thank you for joining us Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard.